and both the butty boats let out to Jimmy and Hetty Figgins, and with Ma and Pa both earning a proper wage. We're laughing. Seraphina gazed at her sister with some awe. Angela was quiet and gentle, and this was quite a long speech for her. Even so, her explanation did not seem to satisfy Evie, who made a derisive noise and scrambled up to sit astride the parapet of the bridge, gripping the grimy stones with her knees as though she were riding a horse. "Laughing? I bleedin' well ain't laughing," she said, pushing a lock of her straight brown hair out of her eyes. "Why, Fee, you was real fond of that Toby, the one who worked in the bakery and taught you how to snare rabbits when you were a kid. And anyway, we ate well enough, didn't we? And who cares about clothes?" "Toby was a friend to the whole family, but even so we didn't see much of him once he was in work," Seraphina said, looking long and hard at the youngest Todd. She had personally supervised Evie's washing and dressing that morning and had thought her neat as a pin when she'd left the flat. Yet somehow Evie had managed to get extremely dirty. The palms of her hands were black, and there was a three-cornered tear in her faded blue cotton dress. Seraphina sighed. "It's pretty plain that you don't care about clothes, even if Angie and myself do," she said resignedly. "What a dirty little toad you are, Evie Todd, and if our pa was to hear you swearing and talking so badly—" "If he was to hear me swearing, he might change his mind about a proper school being the right place for me, 'cause I learn all me swearing off the kids there," Evie said triumphantly. She giggled. "I heard one of me teachers say t'other day that there were members of her class who cussed worse than bargees, and it's true, Fee. Some of the kids, particularly the boys, can't say a whole sentence without a bad word in it." Seraphina smiled. She couldn't help it. Evie always had an answer for everything. That was the trouble, and Seraphina knew the uselessness of lecturing. As soon as you started to reprimand Evie, she would be off, skimming down the street in her dirty old plimsolls, and probably taking them off and tying them round her neck with the laces as soon as she was out of sight. So Seraphina just said, "Never mind what other people do, Evie. You are the daughter of a lay preacher, so you ought to be above reproach. Let the others swear if they want to, but think how it would upset Ma and Pa if they heard you cussing. I know we all miss the barge and the canal folk, but Pa's always wanted a steadier job and to give Ma the sort of life she deserves, so don't you go spoiling it." Evie sighed and actually looked almost contrite. "Well, I won't spoil it then," she said. "But oh, Fee, however are we going to stand living all cooped up for the rest of our lives? It's not so bad for you because you'll probably get married soon, but I'm only 10, so I've got years and years before I can escape." Seraphina sighed. Because of their changed circumstances, she was to enroll on a teacher training course, and though she liked the idea of such a career, she did not relish spending all that time still dependent on her parents with no earnings of her own. Angela had already had 2 job interviews and thought herself fortunate to have gained a position as a sales assistant in Bunney's department store. The wage was small and the hours long, but at least Angie would have money of her own. However, Seraphina had always been the brainy member of the family, soaking up her mother's teaching and going eagerly to any local school when the opportunity arose. She had taken, and passed with flying colours, her school certificate the previous year, and knew in her heart that her parents were right. Once she was in teaching, she could command a decent wage, and probably get work anywhere in the country, whereas poor Angie would have to struggle perhaps for years and have to live in the city for the rest of her life, unless she married a countryman, of course. Seraphina was about to remind her small sister that she herself would be tied to the city while she worked her way through college, when the chimes of a nearby clock gave her pause. It was 11 o'clock, and Ma had sent them out to buy greengroceries, something the shop in which she worked did not stock. What was more, she had bidden them visit the market stalls on Great Homer Street, where fruit and vegetables were a good deal cheaper than in the shops. And here they were, on Burlington Street, wasting time gazing at the canal,